You are listening to Indie Soul Rhythms with Moochie Alfonso.
It's good for us, and it's good for me, yeah.
The show that brings you the very best in indie soul. It's probably the grooviest show on the planet.
Singer, songwriter, vibe creator, Sanpriest. Welcome to Indie Soul.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing pretty awesome. It's Monday. Everybody loves a Monday.
Amazing. So what time is it where you are?
It is 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Right. Okay. So it's not that early. So yeah, I don't feel guilty because sometimes I have guests joining me when it's 7 in the morning.
Oof. No, it's not that early. It's when I typically start work anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is just let you introduce yourself so that our guests, our listeners know who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
Okay, cool. So hello everyone. My name is Sanpriest. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised. What I do, I'm not just an artist. I consider myself a creator. I feel like when you just say artist, you put yourself in like one category to say, oh, he just does music. No, I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
The way my brain works, like I just love and enjoy the arts in general. So if I get an opportunity to just be a part of the art, my brain just goes into create mode and I'm able to create and just imagine a whole bunch of things. Like it never turns off.
Fantastic.
But yeah, that's what I do. I am a creator.
Right. Yeah. So that's one thing that also I've been wondering. Creator. What is a creator?
So I guess the way that I look at creator is just basically someone who is able to take ideas and turn them into like just art in general. So like when it comes down to fashion, I like to take my time and create this image that looks good to me. And then I walk around and I show off my art. When it comes down to my photo shoots, I create all of these ideas and I'm just like, this would do well. So I'll create in that aspect. When I podcast, like I'll do that. Like I'll come up with my creative ideas of how I want a podcast to be, how I want an episode to be. But when it comes down to my music, like I take all of my ideas and my trainings and I just put that into my art and into my music. So like I was trained musically. That's why I take that approach with operatic tones and things like that in Craven. I was also I have like a good strong history in musical theater, so I love musical theater. I've gotten some leading roles, thankfully. But I took every experience that I've had in life and I put that into my art and my creativity in general.
Okay, so I know where to go now when I need something created.
Yeah, come to me. I am your man.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, let's get down to this. So when was the first time you knew that you had a gift to sing and write songs?
So when it came down to singing, my mom, she used to sing. And so I would walk around the house with her and we would make songs, just random songs, because we're really goofy people. I think that out of life, I love to laugh first. So if you ever get the chance to sit with me, I can promise you won't be in the same room with me and not laugh, because it's just one of my gifts to the world. I love to laugh. So we will make these fun little songs and jingles. And I used to watch this show called the Jamie Foxx Show.
Yeah.
And one of his jobs was that he was a jingle writer. He used to write jingles. And I always wanted to write jingles as a living, so with that mindset, I had this idea of creating hooks. And I feel like hooks are your business cards, like especially as an artist. Like you don't hand out your business card, you just get on stage and most of the time you're singing. And if you want them to remember you when they leave, you want to make a song that's catchy that even 2 days from now they're singing, "Come here, baby," like little things like that. Like, so I consider it your business card. So when it comes down to music, I started singing early. I sung in the church a little bit, but not that much. And then I started doing it in elementary school, middle school, high school, and then I went to college for singing. I discovered that I had an ability to write music because I had lost my mom. And I went through this depression, this really, really bad depression, and I just stopped singing. I didn't sing for 2 years. I wouldn't open my mouth to sing or
Yeah.
anything, but I felt empty on the inside. And something was just like, well, just write how you feel, write that into emotions. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to sit down and just actually get a pen and paper and write it. So I just used voice notes, and I would just randomly like just start singing songs. Sometimes they made sense, sometimes they didn't. But then I went back and I revisited it, and then I would turn those mumbled words into actual lyrics that made sense to the music to actually tell a story.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that I got from musical theater is you write with the mindset to tell a story. You want to tell a story when you're writing music.
Right. Amazing. Yeah, I can identify I think I went through a period like that when I lost my mom as well, that I
Mhm.
lost interest in a lot of things. And yeah, I can identify with that. Um, so you
My
are
mom was like my main support. Like I got in this mindset of
yeah,
like, you know, if you
yeah,
accomplish something, your mom's gonna do something to celebrate you. So then
yeah,
I realized like I'm not even celebrating myself. It's just like I'm on autopilot. Like, why
true.
am I not taking time to celebrate my successes and my wins and or just doing the things that I love in general? And it's just like when you lose someone you love, you
Yeah.
kind of lose that interest. And so but I retrained my brain to say no, we pretty much have the same goals and dreams because my mom was
Mm.
also a songwriter and she was a singer. You know, she was very fashionable. So it's just it's full circle to know that the dreams and the aspirations that I carry on in life, it's not that I'm carrying on her goals and her dreams. It's just the fact that we shared the same goals and dreams.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're a native of Charlotte, North Carolina, which is also
That
home
is correct.
to Anthony Hamilton, Casey and Giorgio,
Yes.
of uh, Jodeci, and also
Yes.
Stephanie Mills, to just to name a few. So how
We
did
love Stephanie.
how did their music influence you?
So Anthony Hamilton is actually someone I used to listen to when I was on the school bus. I had my little CD player, my portable one, and
Mm.
my little headphones, and I would sit at the back of the school bus and I would listen to Anthony Hamilton. I'm just like, man, this man has so much soul and
Yeah,
so much passion in his voice. And Stephanie Mills is just Broadway royalty. Like
yeah,
the Wiz, which is one of my favorite musicals, which is actually something that I am playing into when I create my visuals for my album. Like there's some parts and pieces which I don't want to give too much information
yeah,
until it's done.
yeah,
But Stephanie Mills has been a major like influence in my life as well. Like their music in general, every artist has soul when it comes down to Charlotte. Like people overlook Charlotte, but we bring good music, we bring the soul, and we tell a story with our writing, which is something that I really really enjoy from all of these artists. Like the ability to tell and sell a story that makes you believe like this is something that I am feeling, this is something that I'm experiencing. Like I'm not the only one in this world that's going through this emotion.
yeah,
So those people have been major influences. Fantasia's entire journey
yeah,
is like something that like I'm just like, ooh, you are like the blueprint for life in general. Like you come from this area of like being overlooked or undermined, and then now
yeah.
look at you. You have every year she grows and blossoms into an incredible performer and
Yes,
artist. I love to see Fantasia in general and the way
she's
she
awesome.
captivates the room. Like you are locked into what she is saying, what she is doing. You are
Yeah,
zoned into her, and I take that into my performances. Like I have the ability to walk on stage, and I'm not a tall man. I'm 5'6.5", and so I'm
I'm
not the
taller
biggest
than
man in
you.
the room. But I'll walk in, and by the time I leave, like I know I have you hooked into my sound, and I make sure that I write music and release music that I'm able to also sing live, because I think it sucks if you write this amazing song that you can't sing live. You know,
Yeah,
like people want that same type of sound that they fell in love with on the radio. They pay to come see that same type of sound in person.
absolutely.
And I
Yeah,
believe all of those artists give that, give that and more.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, you've mentioned the artists that influenced you, but what songs particularly would you say impacted you the most growing up?
Um, I growing up. that steps out into like Earth, Wind, and Fire. So like I love the 70s in general.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm a PK. So my parents were like freshly new pastors into the world. So everything in the house was gospel, 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 gospel. So I
Yeah.
didn't get the same exposure that a lot of people, especially like back in the day, they're like, oh, I remember when my mom used to play this cleanup music, you know, which was like the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, and things like that that they would get to cling to, and I or wake up to in the morning. I woke up to gospel, gospel,
Yeah.
gospel, gospel, gospel. No, I love gospel. It's something I was raised on, but I was missing out on all aspects of music, and
Yeah.
so I discovered like the '70s type of vibes and like literally through Disney movies.
Wow.
They would, you know, they would sample musics and get it synced to the movies. And I was like, oh, I love this. I love like I would hear like James Brown and things like that, or Prince, or like just certain songs that I was just like, for some reason, it resonates with my energy. It makes me happy,
Yeah.
and I realized that they were making timeless music, and so that's something that like really heavily influenced me. Everyone knows September and things like that, but I loved Reasons was like definitely a
Oh,
song that like
that's a
I
tune.
loved. Yes, or Marvin Gaye, I Want You, like
Yeah.
just the way that Marvin Gaye just explodes on the music, but it's like he's really telling this story. And I'm a big, again, I keep saying this, I am a big fan of telling stories, but I also write music that is timeless. Like my
Yeah.
music, I want my music to have a stamp on it. Even 20 years from now, people are still singing my music because it's timeless.
Yeah.
So I look at the 70s as timeless music because it doesn't matter where you are in life. If you play something from the 70s, like people are going to know it and people are going to sing along, even if they don't know the words verbatim. They know the melody and they know they know what's happening in the music.
Yeah. Oh, amazing, amazing. So, what would you be doing right now if you were not making music?
What would I be doing right now if I would not be making music?
Yeah.
Honestly, so I have my master's in environmental health and safety, so I deal with like OSHA compliance.
All right.
And it's so, but my skill set is one, I like to make people happy. Two, I love to perform. So if I wasn't making music, I still would be doing something with the arts, whether it be acting or like clothing or just styling photo shoots or just figuring out some way to be creative. Like I also paint. I'm like, so like I do a lot of things in regards to being creative because there was one point in life where I thought I was gonna just not ever, like I wasn't gonna ever sing again. So I was just like, well, what else can you do? Because I feel like the arts is a huge part of how we continue to move on in life.
Yeah.
The arts brings a different level of emotion and freedom. And even though I wasn't singing and writing music, I was just like, I still need that part of my life. So what is it that I need to do? So I discovered that I can paint. I discovered that like I'm really good with just doing interviews, and not interviews, but like podcasting. I'm also talented enough to act. Like there's a lot of things that I'm really good at when it comes down to creativity. So if I wasn't singing, I would probably be doing one of those, one of those. But I
Amazing.
would never run from the arts because
Yeah.
I feel like the arts are very important in life in general.
Yeah. So, the music you are producing right now, how would you describe what style of music is it?
So definitely, I made a promise to myself. I said, I want my first single to be very funk driven. So my album is like different forms and different waves of funk music. You have like that James Brown type funk with She's Bad. Like She's Bad is like real funky. Like it makes you dance, it makes you feel things. And then you flip a page and now you have Come Here Baby, which is a more adult groove funk. So it's just
Yeah.
like seductive in a way. And then you turn another page and now you have To Be There, which is like a jazz funk mashup. And it just takes you on this journey. There's even a little section where I'm like rapping a little bit on it. And then we have my latest single, which is Craven, which I consider like modern funk. Like it has a groove, it has a funk, but it's still modernized enough where all ages can enjoy the song.
Yeah.
But it's grown, it's sexy. It's like I'm craving you. Like come here. I want to just like know your recipes as to why you're so like delicious to me.
Yeah.
So like every song has this layer and texture to it that is different. And so now I plan to release another song I'm supposed to, it's now June. So yes, I'm dropping another single this June that is completely different from the rest of those songs. It's more inspirational. The song is called Run. And I wrote this song because in those moments where I didn't feel like I had anyone to run to, because typically people come to me based off of my personality. I am that person that if someone's having a bad day or they don't know how to figure something out in life, they call me. But I realized when I'm going through those situations, I don't really have places to go, because it's not the fact that people can't help or don't want to help. They just don't have the ability to help me the way that I need help. So I'm just like, where do I run? So you run to the hills, and you sit there and you stay until you're ready to fight another day. Like that is the running to the hills is just like this mindset of just going to your safe space to zone out, get yourself together so that you're strong enough to push through to your next phase of life. And ultimately, the only person that can help you in those moments is typically you, because you have the strength to do so.
That's very true. That's very true. So if you had a blueprint that you would give for staying relevant, what would it look like?
Well, one, you have to be consistent. Like I've been doing this posting journey of like day one of posting my art until I go viral. Day two, uh, like if you believe in what you're presenting into the world, you have to push it out as though you believe that it's one of the best things that has touched this earth, like because how can I convince other people to buy into my art if I don't even believe that it's that good, So consistency is very important. The belief in your art is very important, because you're going to hear a lot of no's. I hear no's all the time. And I just don't. One thing that Fantasia has said in an interview, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically she was like, this is around the time she was having a couple of vocal issues. And she said, she was like, what God gave me, no man can take. And every time like I'm feeling some type of way or getting in my head about something, I'm like, no, this is a gift that God gave me, so that no one can take that from me. And no one can put a limit on how far it can go. Only God can, and only I can. So you have to put in the work to match your faith. So if you are consistent, you believe in what you're doing, you got to put in that work to match what your belief is. So that's a huge part of the blueprint, but you got to have tough skin, and you have to also know when to say no. Because people will take advantage of you. People will try to step all over your kindness. And I'm one of those people that I've created this space of love and kindness. I tell people all the time, I was made in love, raised in love, and all I know is love. And with that love came kindness, but also stepping out into the real world, you realize that people will take advantage of that kindness if you allow them. So have a backbone in order to say, hey, no, I'm not going to do this, because I know my worth. I know my value, and I want everyone else to understand my value. And also, lastly, prove to yourself that you are worth it. Don't prove it to anyone else, because no one else is deserving of that. But if you know that you have the ability to be great, prove that to yourself. Show yourself that is something that you can do.
Yeah, true. Just reminds me of what Denzel Washington said, something along the lines of, having a gift. He said something that was quite profound, and it stuck with me, that each and every one of us has been given a gift. You didn't give that gift to yourself. So you got to make sure you use that gift, because if you die and haven't used that gift, it's like, when you die, no matter how much you've got in terms of possessions, if you die, there's not going to be a U-Haul behind the hearse with all your possessions to go with you. They're going to stay behind. So if you don't use gifts, they're going to stay behind. So I totally agree with that. You have it's a gift that you've been given, so you got to make sure you use it.
I agree. It's just pay it, and also pay attention to your gifts, because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I wish that I could do this," or "I wish I can do that." Pay attention to what you can do, and build on that. Don't worry about everybody else and because there's singers in this world that can sing circles around me. There's writers out here who can write me into a ditch, but I don't worry about what they can do, because at the end of the day, they can't do what Sanpriest does. Like,
Absolutely.
everyone has their own gift, and instead of focusing on what everybody else can do, focus on what you can do and bring your gift into this world, because it's always needed. Someone is always looking for your sound or looking for your ideas, but
Yeah.
they will never get to hear them if you're too focused and worried about the successes of everyone else. Pay
Yeah.
attention to your own success and your own art and your own ability to produce and birth life into this world.
Amazing. Yeah, that's true. So you have a new single, Craving.
Yes, sir.
It is now available on all digital platforms. Talk us through what this song is about and what inspired it.
Okay, so Craven is like more of my adult sexual song. Like it was a song that was placed in my head. So I'll tell you how I wrote my entire album. I walked into a closet, and because I was just having like one of the most stressful days ever, and I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But something was just like, this is the time to write. So I walked into my closet at maybe like 11 p.m. and I stayed in my closet because that's where my studio was. Like I had a mic and just my laptop. And I walked out at maybe like 5 or 6 in the morning the next
Hmm.
day. And I had all of my songs there.
Wow.
And so Craven was one of those songs because it was just, I wrote songs based off of all the emotions that I felt in previous situations and in life in general. And Craven was one of those songs that came to my mind simply because of like, I knew I liked this person. I knew I craved them. I knew I had like this desire for them. And it was just like, I couldn't explain it, but I just know that I was always craving this person.
Hmm.
And so that's where the thought process came from. And then as time progressed, I wanted to use live musicians. I've gotten to this phase where I don't want to just use beats that people have made.
Yeah.
I want to add an extra layer and texture to my music. So I use live musicians on all of my tracks. So every instrument you heard is not something that someone created with a laptop or anything like that. No, this is
Hmm.
actually someone playing the horn. This is actually someone playing the drums, the keys, the bass, and the electric guitar. We layered it out so it adds an extra texture to the music and the sound.
Yeah.
And once we got that, I started to build the backgrounds because I didn't want the song to feel empty. I wanted to build and create this project and this idea. So that's where you come in. That's where I came in with these really cool background vocals. And so Craven actually was just a song by itself. I didn't have a feature. And so I ended up bumping into one of my college friends, and I found out that they were doing art as well. And I was like, you are really, really like impressive. So I was like, I would love to have you featured on this song because I think it would elevate the music in general. So I added in Noel the lyricist to drop some bars on the song. So
Yeah.
while he dropped his bars, I was like, okay, well, I don't want that to be empty. So I added more background vocals to it.
Right.
So that's where we finally get to the end process of Craven. And I was like, okay, this is great, but there's something missing. So I went back lastly and I just re-recorded the entire lead part because I had everything was fresh except for my lead. My lead was created in 2022. So I wanted to like give what I sound like in 2024 and put that on the track. So
Right.
it's more relevant. It feels more relevant to me
Yeah.
because I like to listen to my music daily, so
Yeah.
I don't want to get bored with it. So how can I make sure I don't get bored with it?
Yeah.
So I re-recorded my lead and then boom, Craven.
Amazing. Time is amazing. I don't know where the time is gone, but time really does fly when you're having fun. So I like
Yeah.
to finish off, the interviews with a couple of fun questions.
Okay.
So here's one. Is there any person you would trade places with for a day?
Any person I would trade places with for a day.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't really think I want to trade places with anyone because I actually like I like my life. I like my life. I like my journey. Even the ups and downs of it, it's a part of my story and it helps me just in general to become a better person. So I don't
Yeah.
think I want to trade spaces with anyone if I'm being honest. Um yeah, I don't think I want to because like
I like
just
that.
based off of that alone.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. And what is the worst piece of advice you've ever got?
Um, the worst piece of advice I've ever gotten was like basically someone was trying to convince me that maybe you should just like basically like my art is just not relevant. And this was like years ago. They told me they're like, maybe you should focus on something else because no one's gonna ever want to work with you. You're not good. Your hopes are too high.
Oh no.
And that was for someone that I actually like looked up to and wanted to work with, but
Yeah.
all I was asking for was just a little guidance. And when I got that feedback, I said, no, that just doesn't sit well with me. Thank you for your opinion, but
Yeah.
let me show you what I can do. And literally in the next year, I actually got really serious about music. I've only been doing this for a year.
Yeah.
I released my first single in June. And ever since then, like I've been getting calls to perform. I've
Yeah.
been getting like my music out. I've been getting nothing but warm, receptive love from audiences and people that I did not expect. So if I was only basing my ideas and my dreams off of one person's opinion, I probably wouldn't be doing music. But knowing that
Absolutely.
I had believed in myself enough, I said, forget your feedback and your ideas. Let me show you what I can do without negativity.
Absolutely. I like that. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out and chat to us here on Indie Soul Rhythms. Your time, your energy, and artistry, they mean a great deal to us. And this platform is available for you anytime. Wish you the very best in 2024. But before you go, I would like for you to do us an honor and introduce your new single, Craven.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sanpriest, and I am here to introduce my new single, Craven. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Ooh. I wanna know your recipe because you taste so sweet to me. I need to know the ingredients, the flavors you provide. You feed my appetite. You taste it. I'm going crazy. That's why I'm crazy. You gotta give me something. You gotta give me something. Oh, I'm crazy. You gotta give me something. You gotta give me something.
Got a sweet tooth. Yeah, sitting in my room contemplating what to write. And I'd be damned if I ain't think of you. They say that if you love something, you let it go, right? And if it comes back, then it's true. Now people wondering why I got a sweet tooth. After tasting on your chocolate, I got to see with the caramel dyes and them butterscotch eyes. And we walk up in your candy shop and pay my dues. I can take a pair of seconds with them Jolly Rancher lips. Cherry flavored gloss got me feeling on your hips. Playing with your licorice, tasting like a peppermint. Now you getting real hard, kinda like a chicle stick. Or you up like a fruit, sucking on that juice. Yeah, you best to believe I got a sweet tooth. Wanna try every flavor, any one that I choose. Let me lick the lollipop, cause I'm in that mood. Nickname me Twix, cause I'm all in the mix. And you tasting real good, kinda like a Hershey Kiss. Fill a donut with the cream, now you feeling on the bliss. I bet you never ever felt like this. I'ma break that back like a Kit Kat. Or you got another snicker, let me get that. Cause when I'm in a cranky mood, shit, I gotta eat you. Shit, I made it so good, now I got a sweet tooth.
Sweet, sweet tooth. To taste you. Sweet to taste you. Dripping all over the rug. The heat is too hot. Too hot. Not to melt. That's why I'm crazy. You gotta give me something. You gotta give me something. Oh, I'm crazy. You gotta give me something. You gotta give me something. this turf. We're too grown to play games. Don't play like you don't want this turf. Come on and join the rain. Don't play like you